I know you didn't come to see me, you came to see the dogs, right? And it's great because we have 3 of the Plymouth County Comfort Dogs are here today. We have Star, and we have Roxy, and we have Mikey. And it's great because, the Comfort Dogs really are made for the schools, for the school kids, especially as they're dealing with all sorts of, especially after COVID, trauma, issues like that in their lives. And I think that's really been helpful getting the dogs into the schools. Everywhere we talk to the SROs and the individuals who are bringing dogs to schools or to COAs or whatever it is, they just kind of bring the whole level of stress, anticipation down. I think it's such a positive thing here in our county, and I'm so glad that we were able to have some small part in bringing, now I think we're up to 15 Comfort Dogs countywide, all throughout our county. We're still going on, getting more and more. We just had our most recent one, was Lexi down in Wareham, and piece by piece, our goal is to have them in all of our schools, if that's possible. And I just think, it started, the whole program started with Hingham. We got a call from a police officer up at the SRO who had found us some information about a dog. And he thought it would be a good idea to have the dog in the school. And actually, the dog that he wanted, which is different from virtually all these other dogs, it was not a golden lab, it was not a retriever. It was a small pup that was on the kill list down in Texas. And if that dog did not get a home, she would have been put down. And he took the dog, and it started out that this is our first dog. It's Opry over in Hingham. And we had challenges. Some of the people in the schools didn't want the dogs in there. And it took a while, and Opry was great, went to all the appropriate training. We come to our Children's Advocacy Center. As you know, we have here in Plymouth County a Children's Advocacy Center where we try to help all the kids who are hurt, that are physically, sexually abused. And you'd be surprised how many kids there are. It's countywide. I mean, last year we had more than 1,000 kids who'd been hurt. And a lot of these cases that we have, and a lot of the kids that come in that we're trying to get services for, they don't have the ability to go forward in a criminal case. They either can't deal with the situation, they're too young, they can't speak, they can't formulate what happened to them. So it's really important to get those kids services that they need to have, because every kid that you help, that you can get them the help that they can get, you can potentially, because the theory is out there that today's victim is tomorrow's perpetrator if they don't get the help. So helping those kids are important, and Opry started going to our CAC. And it was really remarkable. They're not like regular dogs, police dogs. They're not drug dogs. They're not cadaver dogs. They're not gun dogs, all dogs that are trained for certain things. These dogs are trained for comfort. And as a result of that, we're able to take one of our grants. As you know, we get grants all the time and be able to change one of our COSEP grants so that we could use it and partner up with Bridgewater State University. And what we're going to be doing is getting information as to how effective these dogs are. We're dealing with a professor down at Bridgewater State University, and that just started. So hopefully we'll get some good information out of there and see the positive things versus potential things that can be changed to make things better. But what I'll tell you at the outset is that in the last year or two, since this program started, it's been remarkable. And I'm a cynic. I've been around a long time. I've seen lots of different programs come in, and I've never seen anything catch on like this. When I go, I'm on the board, I'm one of the vice presidents of the National District Attorneys Association, and I talk about this to my fellow prosecutors from across America, and they're interested in this stuff. So it's not just us. It's something that's going to be powerful, I hope, and it's going to be something that's going to help our kids, it's going to help people in our community, and try to bring a level of civility and decency, which unfortunately in today's world we don't have a lot of, unfortunately. And that's something that's missing. It's something that I missed from growing up, and I'm sure you do too. So that's really the Comfort Dogs. You can certainly talk. I'm not going to talk forever. You can pat the dogs. You can go. They'll take your pictures with the dogs. You can grab the Comfort calendars here. They're free. Grab one. If you don't have one already, you already missed the first 2 months. But the first dog was that dog I spoke about, was Opry from Hingham. And there's Opry in her cruiser, and she's been really great. And all the handlers, all the SROs have done a tremendous job. All the handlers of these dogs live with them. They live with their family. They're home dogs. And they also come out and they go to deal with situations like this. And we had that terrible situation. We had that terrible fire in Middleborough last week where a little girl passed away. I think there were 10 Comfort Dogs that showed up there. It was incredible. They showed up at the schools, at the middle nickel schools over in Middleborough. Those kids are all traumatized by that, right? And that's a terrible situation. You bring one of these dogs in, or you bring them in mass, it's a different situation. So I'm proud that we're able to put that together. I'm proud of all the work that these men and women are doing. It's making a difference in our community. And so when you hear terrible things that are always happening, because that's all people print, that's all people write about, that's all they do, remember that there are really good people, and a lot of them are standing behind you right now, that do tremendous work every single day. So, I think I'm also supposed to speak about scams today. It's always changing. I think I've spoken here before about the variety of the scams that we're dealing with. The DA's office, we deal with, pre-COVID, we were dealing with probably close to 20,000 criminal cases a year. We have 800 square miles. We have 60 lawyers. We have people everywhere. We're trying to be involved in preventative things like the comfort dog issues, trying to dealing with kids who are drug endangered, kids who have adverse childhood experiences, trying to go out to our seniors through our triad programs, trying to make sure we can keep them apprised as to what's going on, having specialty courts for individuals who have drug issues, who have mental health issues and other challenges, but also at the same time holding people accountable when they break the law, because that's necessary. And you know what else? It works. And so we'll continue to do that. But in going out and trying to do presentations like scams, just trying to give you a heads up, because unfortunately the people who are out there scamming are really good at what they do. If they weren't successful, they wouldn't be doing it. And that's why we're all susceptible to it. We all have these foolish things, and although I think they're great for some things, too many people want to put too much information out there. Too many people want to put stuff out on their Facebook, when they're going to get their hair cut, i.e. I'm not going to be at my house, i.e. I'm going to go to a wake, I'm going to a funeral. You always have these different situations where people will use your information and they'll use it against you. Kids will put stuff up about their grandkids, and my grandkid's number 9 plays for the middle school soccer team, put pictures out there. Too much information, too much. Keep it to yourself. You can certainly have things, you have specialized friend groups and things such as that in Facebook, but the people that are out there are trying to get your information. What they're trying to get is your money, period. And you've worked hard your whole life for your money, and the problem that we have and that we continue to have is that people like us, seniors, are too trusting. That's why they come after us, because we grew up in a different time, in a time when people weren't as cynical as they are now. The young kids nowadays who are just that. So they come after us because we're going to believe. We don't want to believe that there are bad people in the world. Well, there are, and they're smart, and they're coming after you. And they're going to come after you through your phone and through your information, whether they're going to be sending you emails that they want you to click on. And listen, I don't profess to be some social media genius. I just figured out the fax machine, all right? So I don't know all this stuff. But as the world continues to change, the social media continues to change, the artificial intelligence continues to change, and the little things that they need. So we're all getting, you'll get an email that looks like it's from somewhere. It looks like it's from the government. Or you're going to get a phone call. Remember, if you get phone calls at your house, do you have caller ID? Because if you don't, you should get it. And if you don't know who's calling you, don't pick it up. Because every time you pick it up and every word you say, every button you click can be used against you by these individuals who are trying to get your information. That's just the way it is. It used to be you could pick up and just hang up, and if you do pick up, do hang up. But you get the old school calls, like remember we all got the IRS calls last year or 2 years ago, you didn't pay your taxes, we're coming to get you, you're going to jail. Really? I think I had 3 or 4 in one day at my house. And I always tell them, the old, and I hate to tell law enforcement secrets, but I always tell a secret, when the police are going to come and get you, they're not going to call you. They're just coming, right? So remember that. So they're not going to call you up and threaten you. When you get emails from an institution that looks like it's legit, with Social Security Administration, whatever it is, if you have conversations with people, if you pick up, if you text, and people start threatening you, in other words, if you don't do this, I'm going to cut off your benefits. It can't happen. You may just be talking to a rude person. Always ask for their supervisor, or always ask to talk to that person. But these individuals cannot do that. All right? Real people can't. Always look for another access to talk to somebody whether it's if you get an email from your bank or it looks like your bank, and these phishing capabilities certainly do look like they're legit. But if you go in the back of your credit card, there's information, there's contact information, you can use that to reach out yourself. So if you have a Visa and you're getting what looks like a Visa email and you're trying to figure it out, call them yourself. Then you can be secure. When people are calling you, you don't know where that's coming from necessarily, or when they're texting you. Your bank, your credit card, all the companies that you deal with, they already have all your information. They're not going to send you an email and ask you to, oh, can you give me your mother's maiden name or something. They've already got all that stuff. When people are asking from you, they are fishing for your information. They are fishing for your PIN numbers, for your credit card numbers. And that to them is more important than anything else. Always check and make sure that you're keeping your information close to yours, because if you don't, you could end up losing money. You can end up losing everything that you work for hard. And one of the other scams, there's always the grandparent scams. We've all heard of those. You've all people getting calls in the middle of the night. It's still going on. And why is it still going on? You've read about it in the newspapers. You've read about it on social media. And why is it still going on? Because it still works. People are still calling in the middle of the night. Hi, Grandma, it's me, Johnny. I've been arrested up in New Hampshire. I need bail money. Don't tell my parents, they're going to kill me. And then you'll play phone tag with the lawyer or the businessman or the friend, because now you're no longer talking to your grandkid, and now you're not going to figure out their voice. And eventually, and we had a case here in our county where a woman went to the bank. They told her, I need cash. This is during COVID. $8,000. And this poor woman went to her bank the next day and went in there and took out $8,000. And the bank teller did the right thing, as a lot of the shopping malls do also. They do the right thing. They go, are you okay? Because that woman came in every Friday and took out $25. Now she's asking for $8,000. It's her money. They got to give it to her. But are you okay? She said, I'm fine. She believed what the guy was saying to her, gave the money to the woman. She went home. She called these people up, and they show up in her driveway wearing masks because it's COVID, right? She gives him $8,000 cash. You're going to hear from Johnny in a couple hours. She never hears from Johnny. She calls up Johnny's mother. Have you heard back from Johnny yet? She says, Ma, what are you talking about? Johnny's here. He's always been here. So now you get $8,000 is gone. In that case, the police did a great job. The local police, the state police, they actually were able to get from the Ring cameras up and down that street. They were able to get the license plate number. The license plate number went back to a black SUV up in Boston. They went up there, they found the SUV, they found the guys. They got the money back, they prosecuted the guys, and the guys went to jail. That's great, but you know what though? That's an aberration. Most time that money's gone. That's why it's important to focus on it before it happens. And one of the other big scams that go on that continue, once again, all these scams, they're all tweaked, they're all changing, contingent upon whatever's going on in society at the present moment. The romance scams, that's ongoing and that is real. And unfortunately, we have a lot of people that go on, there's dating apps, and a lot of them, they're legit. Plenty of fish in the sea.com. I don't know. And people go on there and they put out information, all right? And the people that are scamming you are putting out fake information. And they're putting out fake pictures. And I say fake pictures, it's not a creative picture. It's a picture that they're alleging that they look like. It's called catfishing. And they look like, a young Arnold Schwarzenegger, without the shirt, muscle pose, not getting an old guy like me. And then you end up talking to this person online. And you'll find out that he's probably a doctor working for UNICEF, or he's working on an oil rig out in the middle of the ocean. They're always doing some great work changing the world. Now, romance scams are nothing new. They have been around forever. It's just that the internet allows them more access to more people, and they can work more people at the time. They're not just going to work one person, which is much harder. They're going to be working it online, because more likely than not, you're never going to meet these people. And you're going to have a conversation with them, and they're going to try to wear down your barriers, and eventually you think you're talking to somebody because this individual is telling you that they are who they are, and you want to believe it. And what invariably happens? The bleeding of money starts. And it starts slow, but sometimes it will go all the way up. We're prosecuting a case right now where a woman from outside our county took more than $300,000 from a Plymouth County resident. And although that person is getting prosecuted, are we going to get the $300,000 back? Probably not. That money's probably gone. I cannot tell you how many phone calls I've gotten from seniors who have wanted to believe, because they're lonely, they've wanted to believe that they're talking to someone on the other side. And they've refinanced their homes, and they've banged out their credit cards, and they're destitute. That's why these things are important to understand. Everybody out there is not trying to steal from you. But be careful. Be careful when somebody's trying to expedite something. There was a woman who told her story on Facebook in which she was allegedly going out with this guy by the name of James Gibson, her boyfriend. James Gibson, he worked her on the phone, he worked her on the social media, and then he calls her up one day and says he's going on a business trip, international business trip. And he's on the plane already, and he's waiting to take off. And she was wondering, you know what? I wanted to watch Netflix because it's an overseas flight. I wanted to watch something on TV, but my Netflix subscription expired. Can you go to Walmart and get me a $100 Netflix card? She figured, you know what? My boyfriend, $100, okay. So she goes to Walmart, she gets the card, she calls him up, she reads the number, he gets $100. Whatever. A couple days later, while he's in the middle of his European work vacation, he calls her up again in a panic that all of his tools have been stolen. Gone. $4,000 worth of tools have been stolen. And yet he doesn't know what he's going to do. So it's $4,000 worth of tools. Could she send him, because he was able to find a really good deal, and he's going to be able to get those tools replaced for $2,600, could she send him $2,600? So she stopped for a second, and she said, I'll call you back. And she took a break, and she had a cup of coffee, and she thought to herself, what kind of international businessman is calling me up looking for a deal on these tools and doesn't have a credit card from his business? So she called him back and said, I'm not sending you anything, you're scamming me. And then what she did was actually a really good thing. She actually went online on Instagram and Twitter and all these things and said, be careful of James Gibson. He is out there on these dating sites, and he's trying to lure women in to get information and money from them. And because she did that, other women started getting on saying, that guy did that to me too. That guy did that to me too. And they had been too embarrassed to say that. So by getting the word out and talking to groups of people about things, it's important for people to understand that's what we're trying to do. Get the word out. That's why we talk things like this, because it refreshes our memories that there are things like this going on. So, when you're dealing with these individuals, protect your information. Don't do things for them. If they say they're going to send you money and they want you to send money somewhere else, don't get involved in that. Because money laundering is a federal offense. And if somebody's trying to cover some money through you, you'll be brought into the loop. Be very careful, because sometimes what they'll do during the course of their conversations, they're going to ask you for inappropriate photographs. And people will send inappropriate photographs. And the next thing you know, you're being blackmailed. Be careful. That's what this comes down to, whether it be grandparent scams, romance scams. Protect your information. Trust but verify. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to hang up and call these institutions yourself. Don't be afraid to have that conversation. Because if you do that, you'll be better off, because once something happens and you're out money or you're out information, the genie's out of the bottle. It's like going on the internet. We go to schools, we do cyber sense with kids, and we try to explain to kids that, the internet is a great educational tool, but it also allows predators and bad people to come after you, and to be careful. And be careful with the information you put on it, because if you're not, it'll be used against you. So we have, young kids who go out there and put inappropriate photographs. And then their parents will call us up and say, you need to get that back. It's up there. It's in the cloud. You have no idea who took it, who downloaded it, where it is right now. It could be anywhere. You're not getting it back. And that can affect, if you're a young kid, you're applying to college, you're trying to get jobs. The internet is not anonymous. They can find out who you are. They can find out what it is that you're saying. There's all sorts of ways for people who are way smarter than me to understand all that IT stuff to get that information. We do it all the time in investigations. All the time in investigations, and in Facebooks and Instagrams and Twitters, on phone locations, huge now in criminal cases. So the internet is a great thing. It's a great educational opportunity, but it also provides opportunities for individuals to go after you and get your information. I appreciate coming in here today, and I appreciate the fact that you'll be able to talk to pet our comfort dog.
Thank you.
Thank you.